When Elon Musk was in school, one day a bunch of kids came and kicked the crap out of him and put him in the hospital for a week. And when he got home, his dad took the side of the kids who beat him up. Elon Musk grew up in South Africa, which might be one of the most intense places in the world to grow up. For example, he went to this thing called Veld School, which was like a Lord of the Flies camp where kids would just beat the crap out of each other all the time and do all the. It was like terrible. Like the counselors did nothing. Another example is one time he went to a concert with his brother Kimball, and when they got there, they got off the bus, and immediately they just saw a dead body lying in the road. Blood pooled around him, a knife sticking out of his head. They also had to deal with their dad, Errol, who's like one of the weirdest dudes ever. To paint a picture for you, he's still alive today, and about 6 years ago, he had a child with his stepdaughter. In Walter Isaacson's new biography of Elon Musk, he says that Elon's erratic childhood is part of the reason why he's so erratic and weird, and also part of the reason why he's so creative and effective. The other really big Elon Musk biography was by Ashley Vance. It came out in 2015, and it mostly focuses on Elon's mission. It focuses on like, oh, we got to get to Mars, and we got to have sustainable energy because this is the stuff that's going to benefit humanity. And it paints Elon as this like super mission-driven guy who's trying to save the world. Walter Isaacson's biography is more about what makes Elon tick. It's about the inner demons in his head that are driving him towards success and perfection and being great and making all these big machines and to do all this erratic stuff and to create crises where there are none. One example of this is how in 2022, when it seemed like everything was going really well in Elon's life, Tesla had just made 1 million cars and SpaceX had just released Starlink and done all these successful launches, he decided to buy Twitter, partially because he wanted to create more problems in his life, because that's when he feels most comfortable. Pretty much every chapter in Walter Isaacson's book goes into the extreme intensity with which Elon Musk does everything, from building rocket ships to dating to playing video games. The dark side of this is that he's really mean to people, he fires them all the time, he puts a ton of pressure on them to get shit done. The bright side of this is that you get all kinds of cool stuff like rocket ships and electric cars. Back in 2010, for example, there was a whole wave of sustainable energy businesses that there were a ton of hype around, because there were all these subsidies from the government. And pretty much all of them went bust because they were more based on fluffy sales hype and, convincing people like, oh, this is the future, than actually getting stuff done. The big example is Solyndra, the solar company that went bust. This is pretty similar to what Walter Isaacson was talking about in his biography of Steve Jobs, which is basically about how Steve Jobs was an artist, he was a perfectionist, he wanted to do everything perfectly, he was really mean to the people around him and put tons of pressure on them, and he created some really, really amazing things. Is that worth it? I personally think so. My opinion is like, we got to do stuff, we got to get stuff done, So is that worth it? Is it worth being mean to people and kind of putting pressure on people and making them uncomfortable if it means you get some really, really cool things? And I think it is. I think, people who sign up to work for Steve Jobs and Elon Musk, they know what they're getting into. And we got to have people who light a fire under us and drive us forward. But there are other people who would say, like, no, we just want to chill. We'd rather kind of, hang out and smoke weed all day. Another place where you see Elon's love of chaos and risk come out is in his dating life. He dated Amber Heard, for example, which, if you followed the Johnny Depp stuff at all, Amber Heard is like batshit crazy. Same thing with his first wife, Justine, who basically Elon's entire family hated. One big difference between Elon Musk and Steve Jobs that Walter Isaacson highlights in his book is that Steve Jobs focused a lot on what the product looked like, but he didn't really care about manufacturing. Manufacturing was just something that people in China did, and you didn't think about it. Whereas Elon Musk spent a lot of his time thinking about, okay, what's the best way to build Teslas? How do we build the machine that builds the machine? He got this wrong in early 2017, and it resulted in him having to work 120 hours a week at the Tesla factories in Fremont and the battery factory in Nevada, just fixing everything and setting it up so that the assembly line worked and could produce enough cars to actually make the company profitable. Tesla needed to be able to make 5,000 Model 3s per month in order to survive, and they had the production capacity to make about 1,500 Model 3s per month. And a bunch of people who, they noticed this and they started short selling Tesla, and they said, yeah, Tesla, it's about to go bankrupt, it's about to fail, yada, yada, yada. And Elon Musk just did all this stuff at the factory to improve efficiency. He created a whole nother assembly line. He found some loophole in California regulations that allowed him to build, an emergency assembly line or whatever, and start building more Model 3s. And by the end of July 2018, he was building 5,000 Model 3s per month. One thing to keep in mind is that all great artists are a little bit messed up in the head, right? Like you take a look at Kanye West, Amy Winehouse, all these people, they're not they're not all there. And that's part of the reason why they can think differently and have all these out of the box ideas. And it's the same for business leaders, right? Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, people like that. They're not normal, and that's the reason why they can create incredible things. We tolerate this with actresses and singers, but for some reason we don't with CEOs. As Elon puts it, to anyone I've offended, I just want to say that I reinvented electric cars and I'm sending people to Mars in a rocket ship. Did you think that I was also going to be like a chill, normal dude? So thanks for watching Theo's Book Club. If you're new here, I'm Theo, and I make brief summaries of the big ideas in the books that I read, so that you can learn what I learned and so you can decide, do I want to read these books for myself? If you like this video, do me a big favor, hit the thumbs up button. That tells YouTube, hey, this is a good video, we should share it with more people. I would greatly appreciate that because this is a brand new channel and I'm trying to grow it. Also, feel free to hit subscribe if you want to see more of these book review videos pop up in your feed. So anyways, thanks for watching, have a great day, and until next time, don't be afraid to get a little crazy.